Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today on new product roadmap, our new GUV series. Thanks, JC Max, for organizing this session. My name is Kenny Mo, APEC Regional Sales Manager. Today's webinar will be led by Hugh, Grandstream's Director of Support for APEC and North America. So please welcome. Hugh, can you take the lead from now?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everyone for joining. So today, we're going to do something a little bit different. It's almost more of an unboxing video because we have so many new products. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, a PowerPoint presentation, along with a video at the same time. With IP Video Talk, you have an option there on the lower right-hand corner to change up your view. So make sure that you see both because I'll be showing you guys some of the new products. And that's how we're going to run it today. Again, thank you everyone for joining. I see a lot of familiar names. I think for those that don't know me, my name is Hugh, like Kenny said. I'm the Director of Support. And I do apologize for the really long hair that I have. Been on quarantine here in Los Angeles since March. So, they just opened up the barber shop a few weeks ago and then they shut it back down. So I haven't been able to get a haircut for quite some time. So once again, we'll get started with some new and exciting devices that Grandstream has. Some that are released actually just yesterday and some that are coming up next week. But for those of you that are part of our mailing list, you would have received notification of of a new line of devices that we have just released, and that is called the GUV series. The GUV series is a personal collaboration device line that Grandstream has just released. Right now we have headsets as well as webcams, and these are really meant kind of for the current situation, with the whole work from home or work remote, and the whole unfortunate pandemic situation has really changed the way a lot of businesses operate. For example, Grandstream, all of our offices worldwide are working from home. In the U.S., where I'm located, we're working from home all the way until the end of October. Fortunately, as most of you guys have experience with, Grandstream, all of the models that we currently have on our portfolio kind of really was made, uh, for this type of environment. All of the IP phones, access points, the video conferencing devices, it kind of fit in perfectly for the scenario. So those of our customers that have been using Grandstream all these years had a pretty easy time adapting to the current working situations. But we know that there is a huge subset of customers that haven't been working with Grandstream for some time, and there's another larger subset of customers that don't necessarily need IP phones or actual video conferencing devices from home. And due to popular demand, we came up with a new lineup, the GUV series. And what we really aimed with this new series is really to make it as easy as possible for users to be able to communicate, whether it is with their colleagues, with their customers, students and teachers as well. And we have several different devices that cover all of those verticals. So firstly, the first lineup in our GUV series are our USB headsets. And some of you guys are probably saying, finally, after a decade of requests, we finally released some headsets. And that's true. We've been thinking about the headset lineup for many, many years. And I guess kind of through necessity, we finally released a new lineup. We currently, yesterday, August 4th, was the worldwide launch of our first two USB headsets in the lineup, which is the GUV3000 and the GUV3005. Now, these are USB headsets. And what that means is that you will be able to plug that up into your computer, for example. And being that it's USB, there's no additional software to install. You don't even need any drivers as well. Just plug them in, and it should work with all of the collaboration tools that you're accustomed to using. A lot of people use Zoom. Zoom is very popular. IP video talk, another platform. Microsoft Teams, Skype, obviously. All of those collaboration tools, our headsets were built for those tools. And of course, in addition to those, computer applications, our USB headsets work perfectly with our IP phone lineup, especially the GRP series and the GXP series, those models that have USB ports. So let's dig a little bit deeper into these headsets. And I know, for those with experience, headsets, gosh, there's a million different headsets on the market. And so we'll try to talk about some of the reasons that make our headsets stand out, and give you a reason why you should be using our headsets, right? And in true Grandstream fashion, as with all of our devices, we make it easy to use. You just plug and play, and we make it affordable, easy to afford. Both of these headsets that we have available now are USB, so you'll have a USB connectivity, and they also have inline controls to control the volume, the call pickup, as well as mute. And both headsets actually have noise canceling technology built right in. So it's the 3005 has active noise cancellation. So you get that, so you can block off all of the background noise, especially when you're working from home like I am, and you have the kids running around, you have the dog barking, you have the wife nagging. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't really say that part. I think we can edit that part out of the recording about the wife, right? Right, Kenny? I think so. Right, and they're adjustable. They're super comfortable with soft ear cushions, so that you can wear them all day. Especially in a call center situation where the call center agents do wear their headsets all day. We've made it comfortable and light so that they can have hours and hours of operation. Now, the GUV3000 is the more affordable option, which I have here. Hope you guys can see that. All right. This is the baby of the lineup. It has dual HD speakers, has a noise canceling microphone, with Grandstream's patent pending noise shield technology to block out the background, has an adjustable headband, and has a 2-meter cable with the inline controls, as you can see. So this is a very lightweight, very affordable. You can easily deploy these in the masses, especially for call center situations. And the noise cancellation on the microphone boom really helps out in noisy environments such as a call center. Now, my favorite of the two is the GUV3005. So this one has superior noise cancellation on the headphone. It has more sizable cans, but the cans are very cushiony and soft, so that they can fit on the ear, and you'll be able to operate it for hours and hours. It has a much better algorithm and performance on the microphone boom here, and the audio quality and noise cancellation is also much better. Same USB inline controls, and with USB plug and play operation. So kind of a comparison on the specs of these two. We have 27 millimeter speakers in the cans of each, with the 3005, of course, with the bigger diameter can, so that it's more comfortable. Fits over the ear. They both have a similar sensitivity with 1 milliwatts of power. The GUV3000 has 95 plus or minus 3 dB, whereas the GUV3005 is 94 dB sensitivity. Now, the frequency response is the main difference between the two. The 3000, the little brother, has a frequency response of 100 hertz up to 7 kilohertz. So that's near HD quality. Technically, if you really want to be picky about it, anything above 8 kilohertz, anywhere between above 4 would be, and of course sound is subjective, but from a technical standpoint, anything above 4 kilohertz is really on the spectrum of HD, but really you want to get above 8 kilohertz to get real HD. So this one, the GUV3000 is up to 7 kilohertz. So to the untrained ear, it sounds just like HD. The 3005, the frequency response is from 20 hertz all the way up to 20 kilohertz. So you can definitely hear the difference, especially when you have an HD audio source. Much clearer, similar to speaking in person, right? And we have very low distortion at about 3% and 1 kilohertz. So very high quality, clear sound. Now the maximum input power is up to 20 milliwatts. So that covers pretty much every single device that you're going to be using, bar, professional audio devices, like mixers and DJ equipment. But in general, your PC, your IP phones, plenty of room to drive power to it. Okay. Now, if you look at the microphone sensitivity, you see that the GUV3000 has roughly, averages around 47 decibels, which is a very sensitive microphone. But the GUV3005 is even more sensitive at 44 dB. These are cardioid microphones. So, it's omnidirectional cardioid microphones that can pick up, wherever, especially usually when you have it in the vicinity of your mouth when you're speaking. They have a very low SNR of 55 dB to make sure that you have the best quality sound possible. Now, the microphone boom rotation on the GUV3000 is 310 degrees. So you can actually, that's way more than you ever need. You can go even farther back from your head so that you can have it on either ear, left or right. So you can switch that based on your preference. The GUV3005 has a slightly less angle at 235 degrees. So you have straight up and almost straight down. And it goes all the way around the back so that if you wanted to switch it to the other ear, you could as well. Yeah, at any time, if you guys have any questions, feel free to enter them into the chat. We have our team members, Jazz and Shiying, also on the webinar, and they can answer questions, and I'll try to answer questions as I go along as well. Right. So this just gives you an illustration of the angles of the Microsoft boom on each of the series. I guess you can sort of see in the picture how much more robust the GUV3005 is. And let me see if I can get this to the camera to give you guys an idea of the size of the cans that are on these. All right. So you see there with the larger one on the screen, that's the 3005. So much larger. So it can drive better quality sound there. Right. And so the best thing about having USB headsets is for Windows, for Mac OS, and also for Linux, it's just really plug and play. And it was built so that you can plug it into your PC or laptop and run it with all of the different apps. There's no drivers required. All of these apps were created to utilize the resources of the machine that they're running on, whether it's a PC or Mac. And so when you're plugging it in via USB, it becomes a part of the system where these applications can then utilize those system resources. That makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about firmware updates. You don't have to worry about apps not supporting it because it's part of the PC, right? So Zoom, Slack, which our company uses, Google Meet, Teams, and it's of course IP Video Talk and Grandstream Wave. It was really meant for those type of deployments, but of course we also have the built-in support for our IP phones as well. Oops, sorry. Now, just to give you a comparison, and we have comparison charts for a lot of different vendors out there, but some of the more popular ones, obviously the Jabra Evolve it has been popular for years and is still popular. We compare quite well against the Evolve 40 and the Evolve 30, and if you look, it's almost a one-to-one comparison. All of the high quality features that the general public is used to with the Jabra Evolve, they're all supported on our GUV series. So it makes that adoption a lot easier for the general public when switching. From what I heard, at least, right now it's kind of a tough time for some of these other vendors because of stock issues. There's a worldwide shortage. I think I was looking at one of the vendors and through one of the broadline distributors, and for one of the models, I believe it was a Jabra Evolve 30, they had a back order of 90,000 units. So it's going to be quite some time before you be able to get your hands on one of those, and that kind of where we fit in. So Martin asked, what if I need to use the headphones with a phone that has a 5mm jack? I think maybe you mean a 2.5 or a 3.5 millimeter. I'm not quite sure. I'm not familiar with phones with a 5mm, but a lot of phones, including ours, have a 3.5 millimeters. So these are USB, so they don't have the 3.5 millimeter jack, but we've tested it with just a USB to 3.5 millimeter adapter that you can purchase online for very, very, very cheap, and that works just fine as well. The only problem is the volume controls may not work for every device. The inline volume controls may not work if you're using that 3.5 millimeter to USB adapter. For some models it'll work depending on how they wire it, but from my experience, from the number of tests that I've done, it doesn't work for every IP phone. It just depends on the manufacturer. But that's a great question. Okay. So any additional questions on the headsets before we move forward? I know this is a brand new venture for Grandstream. Very, very exciting. In fact, the forecast that we had for these devices, actual sales, it's only been on sale for 2 days, and it has well exceeded what we forecasted. So these have already out of the gate in 2 days of sales has already been a success. So we're very happy with it. I'm not sure if Vanita has any in her office I think she should, but if you guys want to sample some of these in-house, our office in Malaysia, we have 3 sets of each. Come by and play with it. I'm not sure what the situation in Malaysia is. I think there's still an MCO, but I think if you can contact Vanita and her team, they'll be able to ship out some demos and get you guys tested on these and see how you guys like them. We would also love to hear some feedback as well. No, Vanita just said she doesn't have any. They're on back order. So yeah, as I said, they've been more popular than we expected. But again, our office in Malaysia, we have 3 sets. We're more than happy to lend you guys a set to play with. Just let us know if you're interested. Cool. But yeah, headsets are headsets. We also have the GUV3100, which is our first webcam. We've had video conferencing cameras and systems, or we like to call them endpoints, available for years. And this is our first standalone webcam. It's a very small device, as you can see here. Very tiny. It's made to go on top of your monitor, your TV, your laptop. I know what you guys are seeing now, my video is from the built-in camera on my Apple MacBook. Most Apple MacBooks, I believe all Apple MacBooks right now, their camera resolution is 720p. So very low resolution for a very expensive laptop. So this is a great solution for that. It gives you a 1080p camera with the built-in microphone as well. So it does have 2 microphones that are cardioid. So it's much better pickup from any of the built-in microphones on computers. Again, it's a USB webcam, so plug and play. Just plug it in, and your computer will recognize it, and you can use it with any of the major third-party platforms, applications out there, as well as, of course, IP video talk. Now, it has adjustable video settings, as well as microphone settings as well, and it has a very, very good contrast, and it's a really good pickup with MJPEG and YUV resolutions or encryptions. It comes with the 1.8 meter cable, which should be plenty if you're using it with your laptop or your PC. I actually use this. My daughter takes ballet classes, and because of the pandemic, they are not allowed to have in-person classes, so they have virtual classes, and she uses this camera because of the wide angle, much wider than a normal laptop would have, to have her online ballet classes. Has a built-in adjustable support so that you can clamp it to any style monitor or TV that you have, and you have it securely fastened. It has nice rubber feet for that grip in there as well. So it says here that it's a 2 megapixel high quality CMOS sensor. So plenty enough for your 1080p resolution. The built-in microphones, the 2 built-in microphones, has up to a 1 meter pickup range. Typically, for a device of this class, you're probably not going to be sitting farther than a meter, which, pardon my US schooling, I believe that's about 3 feet. So not too far, but great for a personal webcam. So here are some of the specs. As you can see, the angle of view is 88 degrees. So that's quite wide. I believe most of the built-in cameras for laptops are about 70 degrees. So you get a much wider angle, and you'll get to see much more of the environment than with the laptop. Excuse me. So this may not seem like it's a big deal, but this camera does a video compression. It can do MJPEG, which most webcams do. Also YUV too, but it also does H.264 and H.265. What this means is that the compression is done by the device itself. So it doesn't require the CPU power to do it. So if you're sending a H.265 stream, that's I guess not the latest and greatest, but the best one right now. It uses a lot of CPU power actually to compress it, because the compression allows for lower bandwidth usage. It does utilize quite a bit of CPU power, but because the compression is done directly on the device, it does save the precious CPU power from your laptop or your PC. It does it directly on the device itself. Okay. Has a focal length of 3.24 millimeters. Great for personal use. Again, just like with our GUV headsets, this device was really meant to be used with all of the major platforms out there, such as Zoom, Slack, Meet, Teams, and of course, Grandstream's IP video talk, which you're using now, as well as the upcoming Grandstream Wave soft phone, which is the new desktop application for our UCM 6300s. So just to give you an idea of where some of these devices are being deployed, typically when you think of Grandstream, you're thinking about devices for enterprises, for small businesses, right? And these kind of just fit right in there at this particular stage. I'm not sure about you guys, but I haven't seen another person in real life for 5 months now. So every day I'm on a video call, and so having a nice quality camera and a nice comfortable headset is very important. And with a lot of the companies worldwide, that have moved to the remote work, it's more important than ever. Another vertical that is very popular, especially with when used in conjunction with IP video talk, is the education vertical. Here in Los Angeles, in California, all schools, school is supposed to start next week actually, but all schools are mandated to start school with distance learning. So everything is completely online. And you know what that means? Just like how I'm on video calls every day, my kids are going to have to be on their computer every day. And I have multiple kids, as do some of you. And when you have multiple kids and they're all in classes, it can get quite noisy. So I give them headsets. I give them a headset so that they can listen to their instruction and not interfere with their siblings' instruction, and also create noise that drives me crazy. And so they each have their own headset, and you want to make sure that they have something comfortable, because they're going to be in instruction for hours at a time. And so you want to get them something that's comfortable, that they're willing to wear for long periods of time. A lot of teachers will be giving online instruction, and again, especially like my sister, she's a math teacher. She's going to have to show diagrams, and perhaps even show maybe her math problems on a whiteboard. She'll definitely need a higher quality camera than what her laptop provides, and that's where the webcam comes on. With IP video talk, also we have the virtual whiteboard feature that she can use to write out her math problems and show her students how to solve them. We also have a great little feature that we recently added specifically for education, right? My sister, just give me 1 second while I get some water. Prior to the new school year, back in March, when she was still shifting over to the online learning, their school was using Zoom, because obviously that's very popular, as you guys can imagine. But with Zoom, when she's holding classes for her 30 students, all of the students, when they share their video, they're able to see each other. And so, you always have the kids that make the funny faces, the clowns, that try to make everyone laugh while my sister is trying to give her instruction to the rest of the students. So it's very distracting. So one of the features that we added is called the speaker mode, where the teacher, in this case my sister, she'll be able to see the video of all her students, the video feeds of all her students. So her screen will show 30 different video screens, whereas the students, they'll only be able to see the video feed of the teacher. So that definitely helps out with some of the distraction. And so that's been very popular in the education vertical as well. Healthcare, sorry, go back. Healthcare, the healthcare vertical has also been tremendous in these past few months, especially with the whole shift to telemedicine. I actually took I didn't take my daughter. I had an appointment with the physician for my daughter just last week, and she needed to go get her medical checkup before school starts. And so I had to make an appointment, but it wasn't an in-person appointment. It was done through a video conference call. So the whole physical checkup was done through Zoom for their case, because that's what they were using. And so, in the healthcare, that's very popular. Even before the pandemic, the healthcare vertical was a very good vertical for Grandstream with our video conferencing solutions. But now with video being more prevalent, these webcams are really good for that vertical as well. The government, depending on what kind of government situations, however your government is handling the pandemic. As you can see on the news, maybe US not so good, I guess. But the government, especially government agencies such as the unemployment agencies, man, they are so swamped with phone calls these days. In fact, those type of government agencies are probably getting more calls than call centers. They're on calls just nonstop, and the headsets would really fit that bill there. You definitely don't want to be picking up the phone and dialing, or picking up to answer and holding up a handset to the ear all day long. Headsets make it very comfortable. These have inline call controls, so they'll be able to pick up and hang up calls and control the volume. Obviously, call center. Everyone knows about call centers. They're notorious for using headsets all these years. So we finally have something that can fit that vertical, especially with the GUV3000 being a more affordable option. With call centers, it's very price sensitive, and also a volume business. So with an affordable option, you'll be able to get thousands of units into that vertical. And lastly is the fitness. I mentioned earlier that my daughter is taking the ballet classes, right? And for here in the U.S., where I don't know why, but people just love going to the gym. Obviously, I look like I don't go to the gym very often. In fact, I've gained 15 pounds since the quarantine. They call it the quarantine 15, right? A lot of people have been doing remote fitness sessions, yoga sessions, Zumba. And Vanita, I think you should be doing virtual dance lessons too. That should be popular for your students. And so just to give you sort of an idea of what we're thinking about, what Grandstream is thinking about when we came out with these devices, our target users, what we envision as our target users, are obviously the remote workers like myself and many of you who are working from home. With Yeah, I hate to say it, but with IP video talk, I actually I don't even have my IP phone plugged in right now because I've just been having all of my calls on IP video talk and using the headsets. It keeps my desk nice and clean, no clutter on my desk. Although I have another desk that has like 20 different phones on there. But we envision these devices um, specifically for the remote workers. We also see worldwide, some countries are different than others, but this remote working is going to continue for quite some time. In the U.S., for example, you guys probably read the news. Google announced that everyone's working remotely till the end of 2021. So that's quite some time. Again, with Grandstream right now, um, our offices are targeted to work remotely till the end of October. There's a very, very good chance that will be extended. And even when things sort of go back to normal, we've had so much success with the remote work that we're probably going to continue remote work in some form or fashion for the foreseeable future. Like I already have a plan for the team here in Los Angeles that they'll only be required to come into the office twice a week once things return back to normal. Um, and so that gives you an idea of how long uh, this shift is going to take effect. And that goes right on to the next target user, which is the part-time commuter. People that come into the office, just a couple of days a week, like how we're going to be operating. The same thing, with our Malaysia office as well. Um, we've done very well, especially in our industry. We've done very well with working remotely, and so I think it's effective for us. It actually makes people happier. I don't have to sit through the traffic every day as I normally would, but from my experience, especially in Malaysia, the traffic in Malaysia is way worse than in Los Angeles. People always say the traffic in Los Angeles is bad. That's because they've never been to Malaysia. Um, so it does make things easier for us, and those people that are always on the move, like myself prior to the pandemic. I actually haven't been at an airport since February, so it's a huge adjustment for myself, but hopefully we'll be able to travel again soon. So those are kind of where we originally targeted these devices, but you know as these devices have been released and people are starting to use them, uh, we find people tend to use their ingenuity and use them for all sorts of different ways. Like my sister, when I introduced her to the webcams as well as IP video talk for her students, she loves it. She's planning on using that for instruction for the rest of the school year or until Los Angeles Unified School District allows in-person learning again. Um, so, we'll see how things evolve. Um, right now we have two wired USB headsets and one webcam. That lineup, the GUV lineup, is going to continue to expand. Within the next 2 months, we'll be releasing a pair of Bluetooth headsets, as well as some higher end webcams, to the market. So we're going to expand on this portfolio, give customers the choice of what they want to use. So we're very excited about this new lineup. It's a new venture for us, but so far the reception has been overwhelmingly positive. Much more, it far exceeded our expectations. So I encourage you. Vanita said, they hopefully in Malaysia should have some units by next week. I encourage you to check them out. I know the demand is there. We've done the market research and kind of kind of a sneaky thing to say, but with other brands right now and the manufacturing shortages in China, um, I guess it's an advantage to Grandstream, is that we actually do have stock and we're able to sell, whereas other brands may be hard to get your hands on. So it's a good thing. I think it's something that we can build on and build the momentum with. Cool. I believe that's the last slide. Let me see. That is the last slide. So that's kind of a sneak peek or an introduction to some of our new products. I did want to spend a little bit of time today on the new UCM6300 series and the Remote Connect services, which is basically a cloud-based SBC. But I'm going to save that for next time because it's going to be a very, very exciting launch. And I just want to tease you guys with some of the cool things that we're doing. So definitely stay tuned. JCMX will be sending out the information on when that webinar is going to be, where we'll be introducing those products, which are very, very exciting. Cool. Any questions? Cool. Well, I thank everyone for showing up today. Again, I do apologize for my very long hair. But I miss everyone in Malaysia and Singapore. Hopefully, we'll be able to see each other soon. I know typically around this time we do a nice roadshow over in Malaysia, but we weren't able to do it this year. But hopefully things get better and we'll be able to see each other, and then was it makan afterwards, right? But if you have any questions, feel free to let us know. We're here for you, and talk to Vanita and JCMX. Like Vanita said, they'll be having some stock in next week. Get your hands on some of these devices, and have a play with it, and do let us know some of your feedback. We're very open to feedback. Wong, yeah, that's probably because I still have hair, right? We're wrong. Cool. Well, again, since no questions, I thank everyone for taking the time out to be with us today. It's always a pleasure to talk to everyone. Please stay safe, wear your mask, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.